Good morning, everybody. This is Max Farrell. This is DexFxMarkets.com, and this is January 25th, 2019, and this is your weekly wrap-up. Let me give you a status report on the cold of the century. That's right. I've had a cold for the longest time. It's almost been 2 weeks. And I got to tell you, I'm sick of it. It's almost finished. I could feel it in my bones, but I still sound like I'm a prepubescent teenager. All right, so we're going to get started here with the wrap-up. We're going to look at the daily signals. Now, this week in the daily signals was amazing, only because we've had there's so many trades that happen for OTM on what we call 100%ers, the tons, T-O-N, right? Ton, 100%. It's a DART thing, too. On our DPC, we've had a tremendous week. Of course, we've had so many tons for the week. On Thursday, right around Thursday, I start looking for these, and then I start looking for OTMs. These are when the trades go out of the money, okay? And anytime that they do, we have such a great avenue of success that happens. And you can even see that there's hardly any of them that lost this week. We did have a hit with the Audi USD that was sitting in the ton position for the week and did take the loss last night, early in the morning, or for the evening, I'm sorry. And so this one was a little bit of a hit, but let me tell you, I was getting them for the Euro USD that we got earlier that went out, what was it, the day before? Let me go back just one page. On the 23rd, Euro USD in the morning. Here we go, right here. This one, oh, no, it wasn't that one. Where was it? Doobie-doo. Oh, you know what? Let's just isolate the variables right now. Euro USD. Here it is. The 11 o'clock. This was on the 24th. This was yesterday. We got into this trade at a profit margin of $87. That's right. Why? Because it went OTM. If we go to the chart, we go to the Euro USD. We just go back just a little bit. Here's the 24th. 24, right. It was very early in the morning. Here it is right here, okay? And this is what I love about this system, is that we saw the trade starting to go out of OTM. It was 1360, which is right around here. And it was for a sell. And as it went OTM, it was out for some time, 1, 2, 3, 4, for a good portion of the time because of the news that came out. Here is the time that we got the trade information, was right around here. And it popped out. It was awesome. It was beautiful, right? And when it did, in the very last moments, the last 15 minutes, it popped down below 1360, 1.1360. We got it for $87 profit margin, and we had 10 contracts on it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Now, my whole week was spent hunting that one trade out. That's it. And why? Was because I went in the very beginning of the week, and I looked at news, and I said, you know what? And here's how you do the news. Boom, come here. You select the entire week, like you can be here on Sunday. You can select the entire week just like that and hit apply. And then you just sit and you look for when news comes out at the time of either signals coming out or an hour before they expire. Okay, and that's what we look for. And here on Thursday, here's Thursday. Here's how the setup happened right here. Look at all this news that happened, 9:45, right in that area. There's heavy news pack during that time. And then we come down and we look at the 100%ers. We go back to the daily signals. We come all the way down, and we look on that Thursday, who's sitting at 100%. I could have done other ones. I could have looked at other ones. I could have. But the Euro USD has been sitting pretty. It's the only one that's been consistent all the way through the year, the last 24 days. In fact, even through before, even last month, I could show you back in history, last month it was as well, and into November. It was the middle of November is the last time that this pair lost in that time period. So anytime it went OTM, could you have gotten into a good trade? And the answer is absolutely yes. Wunderbar. Let me show you back on the chart here. Up here, we've isolated the variable of Euro USD. We're looking at the pips. I'm going to select on that. I'm going to hit it again. And I'm going to show you which pairs, anything that was at least 4 pips or lower, or 10 pips or lower, had a possibility of going OTM, okay? Which means out of the money. And so there's probably about 5 or 6 really good trades. You probably got really good amounts on these as well for the sell here on the 17th. You probably got some pretty good numbers on these. Anything below 20 pips you would have gotten into easy. But anything that hit single digits, you were definitely in at that point. And you were probably making pretty good money on it, right? So the dailies this week did very, very well. We didn't have too many losses. You see, if we go down to DPC again, you see that this past week has been really, really nice. We're going into the next week. We'll see what happens after Sunday. I don't start looking at OTMs until Wednesday or Thursday unless I have some monthly data that has at least a week's worth of information in that says 100% or really super high. 98.1 is pretty good too. Okay. Anything else, anything below 97, I probably wouldn't touch. Right? Pretty powerful. You got to love it. So the dailies did really well. I'm not going to talk about the intradays or the SR Maxes. 5-minute signal system, we're getting some feedback on. Everybody loves the charts. Everybody loves the system over there. The availability of the TNT strategy of hunting out the pairs with trend. Okay, just like this, we have this trend here that's been set. We get negation, boom, boom, boom. Okay, this is really important. Once the trend has been established, we get negation, which are these arrows here that pull back. The first arrow after pullback, boom, huge win. Sometimes you can get the second arrow, but I wouldn't. I would just stay with the first arrow and wait for this to happen. Negation, boom, 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 boom. Okay, as long as structure doesn't get broken, you're good. Like if this came down and broke this line here, because this is the up, this is consolidation. This doesn't set precedence yet. We got this negation, and then this first arrow afterwards. If this stayed true to structure, boom, boom, I think this was definitely a win. Okay, because we started right here, we got in right here, and so after the last 5 minutes, boom, win. So keep that in mind as you're trading. That this TNT strategy, which is follow the trend, wait for negation, okay, negate, and then trade. Trade with the trend, right? Trade with the trend. But you got to be able to spot this. If you get in, if you come to the market and you're sitting here right here, you may not have an idea what trend is. You sort of have to wait until you see something like this happening where you get higher highs and low and higher lows. So keep that all in mind as you're trading this process. Now, the beauty part about this network is I can go right over the TNT charts. And I can trade NADEX, I could trade Forex, I could trade anything I want from this process. Because, why? Because TNT works for it all. It's a mentality. That's all. You're setting yourself a part in the sand here, right? Here's a trade that's going up. Watch what happens. We depict trend. Trend gets depicted right around here because we start to travel up. We're breaking barriers. We're getting higher highs, higher lows. We get negation right here. We get some push up, get a little bit more negation here, and then we get our first arrow in the up position going in this direction. We have nothing above us. And if I pull back on my chart just a little bit, you can see that the other levels are all the way up here. So if that's the case, it's got some room to move. So I have an availability of 71.58, 71, about 13, 14 pips to be able to move. If I'm in a 1 hour trade, now this is a 5 minute pattern, so this is for a 1 hour trade. Okay. So I easily 1, 2, because that's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I got this trade won at this point because I got in right here. You see? So you just have to wait for the proper pattern. We could do this also. I pull up on the 2-hour chart, which uses a 15-minute chart. This doesn't really depict a really great trend, so I'm not going to try to say that this could have worked here as well, even though that it did. We really didn't have a good value of what we call a trend. But what we do have is consolidation. This is another part of the consolidation here, and then immersion, right? If this is the high, this is the high, we get an arrow, pops out, commits to that structure, commits to it here. Once it pulled past this structure right here, I would have totally done a buy right here. Boom. And this would have been 71.15. Got in right around here. I'd say right around here. 71.29, 71.55. So about 40-something pips you could have done. You would still be in this trade right now. Look at the Audi JPY. Let's look at the Euro USD. This is a 2-hour trade format. Again, not a lot of, once it starts to consolidate, once we cross this line and it doesn't establish a new higher high, it just sort of consolidates here. This is what we're looking for. We're waiting for this process to commit, okay? If this is the high for that region, this is the low. Kind of looks like this. As it starts to commit, 1, 2, probably right around here, maybe even here, okay? This would have been a point we would have got in right here at 71 or 1.345. And it definitely takes that time period to make its money. Whether it's be Forex or Nadex. You look for a statement price that is just below, maybe even down here. If you could get into a price that's about that much in the statement price, or you could do it straight hit the money. You know, you probably get a $35 to $40 trade right here at the money to take that risk. You're only risking about 65 to 60 bucks, 60 to 65 bucks at that point. Your risk values are pretty good. Boom, off you go. This is how you trade these systems. Now, the spread system is sort of in the same fashion of being able to trade and get into lower amounts. What you're looking for is ceiling to floor ratio, right? On the spread system, you got to be looking for that. You know, it had a pretty good week as well. Let me pull them up here. All right, here's our spreads. Now, again, you can't be looking at these as, oh my God, this is a big giant losing block, right? Okay, you can, but what you're looking at is that at some time or another, there's a grand possibility that these would have been in a win scenario, right? And so you're not, it doesn't mean that you're losing 19 pips. What we're saying is that if you get close to the ceiling or floor of this process, of this amount, of this open price here, okay, that's really important, is to get as close to that as possible, okay? Because as you create a sell here, you want to be close to the ceiling, all right? So 143.60 would be close to up here. You want to try to get to that as close as possible, right? Because you want to have this availability that if it does go against you, you're only losing 10 to 15 bucks. And that's how we set them up in this system. Now, it does have to move into premium for it to be able to make some money. So you may not be making these bigger numbers in here on the wins, but you are making something considerable. When news does push and it pushes big, you can get up to a take profit of 25 to 25 bucks, 20 to 25 bucks in that area. That's what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for take profits that I can get in and out with. That if I risk 10 bucks, I always want to try to make double whatever I'm risking. If I'm in for a risk of, say, you know, $20, I want to try to see if I can set my take profits at 40. But I also need to look at structure, right? I need to look at the structure. Because if I'm not set up properly in structure, it might just be a fairy tale, right? So we set these up on the 5-minute trade platform for a 1-hour trade, okay? So if I'm not looking at structure properly, if I see anything inconsistent, like I get on and I see an arrow and a TNT and it's an up pattern, but the spreads say it's a down, then I may not be getting in. I may not look at that inconsistency as a value to be into a trade. So spreads did really well. We had some traders trade them. I'm going to be showing, I have some traders that are be showing their proof on how well they're doing. So I'm excited about that. Here is Thor Rafferty's trading journal for, I know he didn't trade yesterday or today because he had some things that he was doing, But here's how his spreads work. Okay, he got close to the floor on this one, which he was only minus $10, or actually minus 9 plus $1 for the fee, and he was able to, try to depict that he was going to be able to get in a good direction, and it didn't work out. But his loss was very low. Where on the other hand, he was able to get into a little bit higher trade of a risk, $42, right? He did 2 contracts because he's seen that there was an availability, so that's about $21 a piece. Okay, so that's pretty powerful. He was able to get in there, and then he profited by hitting his profit target, right? He used structures to set his profit target for only about 20-something pips out. He had a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio there, as you can see. And again, you could get into a process like he calls his defensive exit. He looks to see that the market maybe have shifted, it broke structure, he may scalp out. That's okay with spreads. This is your money. You can scalp out with a win, you can scalp out for a small loss. And then you got ones that just kind of get in and hit your take profit target, and you're done, right? So overall, for that part of it, he made $59, right? $59 from this process trading. You got 2 contracts in there. So with an average of about $21 a trade, $20, $23, $24 a trade. Okay, average losses $10 a loss. Sometimes it could be 15, sometimes it could be 20. Okay, that's the beauty part about spreads, that you can really, once you get the consistency, you can ramp this thing up heavy. I mean heavy, because you're only risking $10, $20 at a time with great availability for profits. If you're risking $20, that's a hell of a lot different than you're risking 85 or $80 on a binary. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so we talked about Nadex, we talked a little bit about Forex, we got the spreads, we got all the other stuff out of the way. Make sure that you schedule a consult. Now, before we get into the next part, prepare yourself. The amazingness of the bot garden is overwhelming. And why? Because it's been one hell of a week. If you've been watching throughout the week, if you've been in the webinars, if you've been just around, you know that our bot, the step bot, has done very well. If you're trying to figure out what happened to the profit bot, well, we took that down because it was distracting, right? That one's a one time a day, could hold it for 2 or 3 days kind of process, a little bit higher drawdown, 15, 20%. And it's okay, but I started talking to some traders, and I'm just going to focus on one here, just the step bot for right now. And we're going to focus on this step bot. We're going to jump right over to the proof page here, and we'll show you what we did for the week. Now, we use a third-party system, MyFXBook, to show you that it's tracked and verified. It's a real account, and it's a process that we really own this account, and we're making money. Now, the week has yielded out pretty well, right? We didn't do any trades yet today or from last night. They probably won't. Our AI system is 4 parts, right? We have a direction depicting system, which picks a good direction by utilizing what we call the daily immersion technique. And we do that process. We fulfill the solution of finding out how much money management we need to have and how many lots we're going to be doing. Is always 0.02 lots on this system. Now, we never grow more than 0.02 lots on this particular system. Why? Because in order to increase your value, like if you attach yourself to this bot, because that's all you're doing, you're not getting the bot, you're getting a copy system, and that copy system is what your system's going to copy the trades that this bot does. But this is the home screen of the bot, right? This is like, here's how well it's doing page, okay? Now look at that. Trading right now. I didn't realize it was trading. It is trading, and it's doing well. I didn't know I had put trades on. Okay, so no trades have closed yet today, but there are trades on, and looks like it's doing pretty good. We're in the NZD today, which is good, because there's a lot of good movement on that today. All right, so here's the thing, guys. It's had some great function this week. It's got some good movement. Here's the history of what's been going on. It hasn't had a losing pack yet, as far as it can lose trades, but this pack of USD CHF, Great Britain Pound USD had a good win. It's just been sitting on the right side of the trading protocols that we've created. and this is really important. If you look at this process, we got about a monthly gain of about 7.77, which is pretty damn good. Okay, and it started with $2,000, and we're slowly performing this process out. Now, I want to show you something. I don't know if you can definitely see this screen. This is a spreadsheet I just put together. Okay, and I'm going to start with $2,000 in this account, and I want you to kind of see. Don't be overwhelmed by all the numbers. But in 1 month, this is where we're sitting at, you know, right with our gain where we're supposed to be. It's not at 13%, it's 7.77. So right around that process because we have the $2,000 in there, right? But we have an expectancy of about $1.29 per trade, about 100 trades a month. And that's what we're really looking at the process here. So if we all stay true to what it has been, okay, here's the increasing numbers. Our first year in, we should be about at $8,500. Now that's with a $2,000 deposit starting, okay? Second year, this is where it gets interesting. This is where compounding happens. And what we do is called accrued lot assessment of your balance. So we don't just stay at 0.02. If we stayed at just 0.02, we'd really only be making about 7% of our money every month. But we're never increasing the lot value on the gain. The gain's going to continue to gain, you know, about $250 a month, $200 a month. But then you're only going to compound that over 12 months. You're only going to make about $2,400. But as the balance increases, our lot percentage increases because we're only staying about 5% of our lot amount, of our balance amount. And as we do that, holy crap, for every $1,000, we're trading one micro lot. And as your account builds up, your account hits $10,000, you're sitting at 11, you know, 11 micro lots. So one mini lot, you know, so is 11 micro lots, right? So, and this is just the second year in. So first year in, you made $8,500. You got about $6,500, right? You tripled your investment at $2,000. You tripled your investment, easy, quadrupled it. Okay. By the time your second year hits, this is where the big numbers start to hit. I can show you what this looks like at 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 years, but I'm afraid I'm going to scare you. Or what happens if you started with $5,000? You're sitting at 91, right? Because it's not a multiplier of just $1,000 would make you 18, so 2,000 should make me 36. It's because of the way it compounds and goes over, right? But if I do 3,000, you see. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, 2 years, I can make $55,000 at the same time that I'm doing all this other stuff. I could just withdraw $100 out. Watch what happens if I just withdraw $100 out. I drop down almost $1,000. If I do it again the next month, now I'm down another 1,000. Up, now I'm down 3,000. Why is that? Oh my God, the numbers are killing me. 40, there's another 1,000, right? It's because it sets the variables out and messes you up all the way along the way, right? So even if you pulled 10% out every month, yes, it would take you longer. You still could make money. If you put $1,000 out here, you really you're still getting killed, right? And again, you pull out another 1,000 here because you made some money, right? But you didn't make $1,000, so you're killing your deposit, right? So if this is what you made, and you even pulled out 10% of what you made, could that hurt you? A little bit, but not much. And you only pulled out 10%, still not too bad, right? 48. Ooh. See, still not too bad. The overall values are still pretty strong, even if you pulled out 20%. If you did $70 here, you see, so you're not killing yourself too much. But again, you're not making a lot of money per month, not until you get after your first year in doing this, and then it starts to really build and gain momentum. Now, this with a risk variable of just for every 1,000, you're doing a micro lot. You know, if you had a risk value at that point, if you wanted to do more, you could do more, and it would increase that bottom line. But you know, that's where we're sitting now. There is a couple of customers that we have that have their live systems on. They've consulted with me. They've gone through that process. Okay, so I'll be showing those next. So here is Bulldog 63's step bot attachment. This is his real account. This is a live account. He's sitting on Trader's Way. And not too bad. Look at that drawdown, 0.24. He's into the trades. You can kind of see right there. He's into the trades. So are we. As you can, oh, wrong one. I just did it again. Wait, that's wrong one. Portfolio, step up. Come on. I know there's a lot going on my computer at the moment. So he just got in the other day. So he missed some trades because he turned off. For some reason, the technical side, when we tell people you got to demo this stuff out, you got to practice with learning how to use it, is very important. Okay, so it's doing very well. There's our system with those trades on as well. Now, for those guys that are like, oh, well, that's only on Trader's Way. No, we're also doing it on Oneida as well. Okay, and look at this. Even doing better on Oneida because their spread's a little bit different than Trader's Way. Okay, so that's pretty powerful, and I'm digging that, and I really am digging that. I think there's a strong presence here for us to make an argument that we're going to be doing exactly what we said we're going to be doing, not just because it's got a couple of weeks worth of time in it, but because of the data that sits behind it as well. Okay, so that's our results for the week. We got people in making money now, real money on board. We're going to have many more coming on board and showing they have to go through a whole process of meeting with me and consulting and making sure that the system's working for them. He got his, let me go back over to the Bulldog stuff. He got his VPS from us. It's very, very inexpensive. Some's like $30 a week or $30 a month, you know, and it runs 24/7. We help you set it up. We walk you through the process. I go through a screen share. I'll do whatever. And I did it with him at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So we are really here to make sure that you're successful because we take your money seriously. We don't want to take a chance that it fails for you because it's important for us for you to be successful. Okay? Well, that's the weekly wrap up. I'm Max Farrell. This is DexFxMarkets.com. I look forward to seeing you inside. And as always, trade well.